Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We're going to make one of these. I'm calling it a paper animatronic. Technically card. So you'll need some black card for the background and some white card with your sketch on it. This video isn't really going to be about drawing the picture so much. There will be some drawing involved. It's more about the animatronic side of it. Not really animatronic either, it's more mechanical picture than actual animatronic, but start off with our sketch and we draw over the main lines with a black fine liner pen. Skip through most of this drawing business, just in the outline in place, keeping it fairly simplistic in style to make it more effective when the face opens. I haven't really decided at this point where the face is going to open and close properly. Getting it sketched in. I think the main part for the top anyway is going to be here in the middle. Cut. And then we colour it in. It's much easier to colour it now while it's flat than it is to colour it afterwards once it's been cut into pieces and curved. It'll be much more difficult to colour then. Let's do it now. Do the muzzle. And put in any little black lines that I may have missed. And use the red pen for the bow tie. And then some little shiny spots with our jelly roll, white jelly roll pen. And some little highlights and shinies going in there. Some whiskers. Select a pen, a thinner one, to finish the whiskers off. And just put white inside them. I'm using a paler pink. Do some reflected light shades on the face. And a thinner line of pink around the eyes. In the pictures I saw it was much thicker than that, but if I tried to do that on here, then most of the face would end up pink. So I'm keeping it fairly thin. Our drawing is kind of half the open state and half the closed state all in one drawing, so compromises need to be made. In some little reflected light areas. And drawing in the tooth line, which I'm not happy with. So I raise it up a bit. We need to be able to hide those lower teeth. So you'll see that later. I don't know why I'm colouring in the nose. That's going to get cut out. And the face really begins to pop once the shading goes in. And now it's time for cutting. Cut out the quadrants of the face. I don't know how the top two pieces are going to look. At this point, I haven't really decided how I'm going to cut the bottom part of the face. I'm going to cut around all that, cut the actual little hairy bit at the top off completely, and we'll stick that on separately. And cut out eye sockets. Do the eyes on the black card. They stay in both states open and closed, the eyes and the nose. Deciding how to cut this out, I'm just going to cut straight through the bow tie area, around the jaw, and cut out the jaw pieces and the lower eye sockets. And I guess we'll just have to cut straight through the middle of the face to do the segments. Then out the nose pieces. Don't need those. Any white areas we don't need. And using a coin to draw the eyes. And a smaller coin to draw the iris. Freehanding in the pupil and just missing out the top right hand corner to give a little gleam, a shiny effect. And this was supposed to be sort of a yellow color, but it looked more green. So I tried going over it in brown. It didn't look totally right, so I used the blender pen. This isn't a white pen, it's a blender, or supposed to be, but it didn't really seem to do a lot. There were so many different eye colors of the character online that I just went with that. Probably wrong, but it looks okay. It looks nice. Now it's time for a little assembly. So take it down where it's got to go. Get everything lined up before you glue it down in its final position. Put it in the wrong place, you can't really adjust it. Just touching up some of the edges that are showing white. Once then black pen goes on there, you can't see them. I want to cover the eyes just a tiny bit. Tops and bottoms with the face. That's looking better. Good enough for me to cut out the rest of the body and arms. Then once those are cut out, any areas that I don't want showing, I'll just colour in black. Same technique that magicians use. You can't see what's really happening. That gets into place. Gone from view. Good enough. That's the first piece going to be glued into place. Here's a bit of scrap paper. Glue onto. Place it in position and stick it down. And do the other arm as well. Now, colour in those little edges there. When you zoom back out, you wouldn't even know that was there. Let's stick the hair piece down. Staying there. Colour in any little edges of white that we don't want showing through. And remove all 4 quadrants of the face. Cut out a little nose. And I've lost it. Where is it? Shows how effective that is. Let's glue that into place. And draw a score line with a pencil on the ear and glue up to that line. I'm going to use the ears as the pivot point for the top quadrants. Line that up and stick that ear down. Another score line. And glue that into place as well. Go up to the line. And try to put it so they're not quite touching, but they're just far enough apart. Bottom pieces, you can't do that. You need something to pivot on. So I'm just going to cut a little tab of paper and stick that to the face pieces to give them something to pivot from. That in place. And sticking that down. And with the other side, trying to make sure they're not touching each other. So they don't have anything to get hung up on. I use a pencil to try and curve the pieces. It helps to make them close better and pulls them apart from each other. The pencil is a bit too fat, so I try something a bit skinnier maybe, like this stick. And you're constantly tweaking and adjusting. Now it's time to draw the actual inside part of the face. The nose, little shiny bit. This is the white jelly roll pen. Or some spring parts. I guess they're springs. Down to where the muzzle closes. And draw in a tooth. Just the tip of the first tooth and a couple of tips either side of that. And finish drawing the teeth upwards so that they are nicely covered when the mouth is closed. Drawing in some more details of the face. Springs, I guess, either side. I assume that's what they are. I got the image idea from looking at some GIFs of the jump scare scene and freeze framing it to see what the face looks like. Now you can't really put the springs in between the eyes because the eyes actually separate as the face opens. We can't do that here. I'll just put what I can in, and hopefully it won't be visible when the face is closed. Why you want the quadrants to cover the eyes a bit so that you don't actually see all this part of the face until the face opens, as the jump scare scene. I don't want it too scary for YouTube, but I want something there. Drawing in the springs that connect the ears, giving an indication of those. That doesn't need to be too detailed. And some more springs down where the hairline down to the eyes. Make sure that's covered by the face, so none of it's visible unless the face is open. More tweaking. We'll be doing that a lot, tweaking all the time, trying to just sort of adjust it a little bit here and there. Now we can do the lower jaw, lower teeth. Some indications of teeth there. And then draw them downwards this time, so that they're nicely covered when the mouth is closed. Or when the face is closed. Not really the mouth, is it? This is invisible thread. That's how I'm going to be opening and closing this one. Snip a piece of that off, a few lengths. And to attach them, I'm going to make some loops of card. Just some strips. And they will loop around a pencil. You could use a pencil or something like that. I'm using a bamboo straw. Glue that down and stick it down. I found it kept popping back open, so I used these little stationary clips to hold it shut while the glue dries. And then to attach the thread, I'm just going to roll over the end, unroll it, add some glue, place in the thread, roll it back over. Place a clip on, leave it to dry. Going to use these bamboo straws to position, hold and control the opening and closing. Put that right inside the nose there. A bit of double-sided stick tape, peel the backing off, stick down the thread and cover the sticky with a piece of paper so it doesn't stick to the drawing inside. And once you've the length right for one, you need to match the length with the other one so that they can both be operated by one straw or pencil or whatever you're using. Put that on and line it up, stick it down, snip off the excess, put a bit of paper over, and that's the opening and closing method. Well, it sort of works. I don't like that top left one not opening and closing properly. I use a length of black elastic band. I cut a piece of that off, stick that over it, over the pivot point in order to make it sort of close a bit more springily. I'm trying to zoom in to show you what the short would look like because you won't see the hands or the sticks in the final short. So there, that's how it's done. If you enjoyed that, please consider hitting subscribe. Like and comment below. Wonder who I should do next. There's the close-up of the rubber band I put over. Glued into place. It just helps to hold that down just nicely so it springs. Oh, thoroughly enjoyed that. Hope you did. Catch you in another one soon.